This passage traces the origins of the use of Easter bunnies, Easter hares. Okay, and it goes into the role of tradition, religion, myth, which countries follow it, which do not. Okay, this summary won't take too much time. The symbolism of the hare has had many tantalizing ritual and religious roles down through the ages. So now you know the subject, the symbolism of the hare, rabbit. Okay, it's a kind of rabbit. Has many tantalizing means teasing, but here the context of the passage you can also infer, read the meaning as fascinating or strange. Ritual and religious roles down through the years. Hares were given ritual burials along with humans during the Neolithic age in Europe. Hares were given burials along with human beings during Neolithic Europe. Archaeologists have interpreted this as a religious ritual with hares representing rebirth. Why were hares buried along human beings? Because hares represent rebirth. Over 1,000 years later, during the Iron Age, ritual burials for hares were common. During the Neolithic age, human beings, hares were given ritual burials along with human beings. During the Iron Age, hares were given ritualistic burials. And in 51 BCE, in the classical Greek tradition, hares were sacred to Aphrodite, the goddess of love. So hares were sacred to the goddess of love, the Greek goddess of love, Aphrodite. From the Greek world through the Renaissance, hares often appear as symbols of sexuality in literature and art. They're symbols of rebirth. They're symbols of, they were sacred to the goddess of love, Aphrodite, and they have served as symbols of sexuality in literature and art. But it is in the folk traditions of England and Germany that the figure of the hare is specifically connected to Easter. This is in general symbolism of the hare. But in England and Germany, the folk traditions of England and Germany, that is where the figure of the hare is associated with the festival Easter. Accounts from the 1600s in Germany describe children hunting for Easter eggs hidden by the Easter hare, much as in the US today. Written accounts from England around the same time also mention the Easter hare, particularly in terms of the traditional Easter hare hunts and the eating of hare meat at Easter. So he is giving references in tradition in England and Germany. Okay. One tradition known as the hare pie scramble was held at Halleton, England. It involved eating a pie made with hare meat and people scrambling for a slice of it. What is that? The tradition of the hare meat pie, where people wanted a slice of the pie made of hare meat. In 1790, the local parson tried to stop the custom due to its pagan associations. Now, what is pagan? Any religion which is not part of the mainstream religion was called pagans. The people were called pagans and the religion was called paganism. All right. Generally, in Christian countries, any non-Christian was regarded as a pagan. But he was unsuccessful. This parson who tried to stop this ritual of hare eating the meat of hare, he was not successful, and the custom continues in that village until now. The eating of the hare may have been associated with, then he comes to when did people started eating rabbit or hare meat. The eating of the hare may have been associated with various long-standing folk traditions of scaring away witches at Easter. He's linked it to scaring away witches. Witches are witch and a wizard, right? A witch is a woman who's supposed to have magical powers. Throughout Northern Europe, folk traditions record a strong belief that witches would often take the form of a hare. So there was this belief that witches take the form of a hare, and usually for causing mischief. So this is a belief in Northern Europe. Okay, there's a folk belief, there's a traditional belief. Witches in medieval Europe were said to be able to suck out the life energy of others and make them ill. So witches were associated with all these things. Naughtiness, like stealing milk from cows, or even sucking out life from people. life energy of people. The idea that the witches of winter should be banished at Easter is a common European folk motif theme appearing in several festivities and rituals. So basically, Easter was seen as a time to drive away the witches. Witches were said to take the form of hares. There's a tradition that witches, become like hares and they cause mischief. There's another one which is even more serious, that witches suck the life energy out of people. So this is a common folk theme, association of the banning of witches of winter. In 1835, the folklorist Jacob Grimm, one of the famous team of the fairy tales Brothers Grimm, fairy tales are there, argued that the Easter hare was connected to a goddess he imagined would have been called Ostara in ancient German. He derived this name from the Anglo-Saxon goddess Eastre, who beed an early medieval monk considered to be the father of English history, mentioned in 731 CE. CE means Common Era. So let's quickly simplify this. Jacob Grimm, there are two brothers, Willem and Jacob Grimm. They're famous for the Grimm's fairy tales. They believed that Easter, this name Easter, is connected to the goddess Istre in Germany, and Bede, who's considered the father of Western history, he believed, he's a medieval monk, and he is considered to be the father of English history. He said that the month of April was called Istromonath or Estre month, and from the goddess Istre. He wrote that a pagan festival of spring in the name of the goddess had got assimilated, got mixed up with the Christian or just merged. Assimilation is merging actually, not mixed up. So he said that there was a pagan tradition, of the goddess Istre, and this pagan tradition of the goddess Istre was merged with the Christian celebration of the resurrection of Christ. So this is how Easter got its name. While most European languages refer to the Christian holidays with names that come from the Jewish holiday of Passover, German and English languages retain this older non-biblical word Easter from the goddess Istre of Germany, associated with the folk tradition. Recent archaeological research appears to confirm the worship of Istre in many parts of England and Germany, with the hare as her main symbol. So who is the symbol of this goddess? In England and Germany, the symbol of this goddess is a hare, a rabbit. The Easter bunny, therefore, seems to recall these pre-Christian celebrations of spring, heralded by the vernal equinox, the spring equinox, and personified by the goddess Istre. After a long, cold northern winter, it seems natural for people to celebrate themes of resurrection and rebirth. Why? Because it is in spring that flowers bloom, birds lay eggs, and baby bunnies hopping around. Clear? Easy, a nice narrative way of telling the story. Let's see how we get the questions, how you answer the questions. The non-biblical word Easter for the Christian celebration of the resurrection of Christ is retained in which of the following? In most European languages, most languages associated with Christianity, languages associated with German and English, or in German and English languages. There's a difference between C and D. Do you note? It's not most European languages. It's not languages associated with Christianity. It is not languages associated with German and English. It is German and English. Therefore, answer is D. Clear?